Hello everyone, my name is Kim Kunikata with my student ID is 241550107 and today we'll be learning about password risk. So we have a case here, which is a login system relies solely on passwords, and users use the same password across different services, and the system does not have login restrictions and does not use additional authentication. So the first one is risk in this condition. So since the system relies solely on password logins, there will be some risk that would happen. Now I have listed 5 risks here. The first one is credential stuffing, brute force attack, single point of failure for the first 3. So the credential stuffing. So if the password is leaked, your account can be immediately be taken over by an unwanted individual. Second one is brute force attack. Since there are no restrictions and people can just try to log in with random passwords over and over and over again, and attackers might just use brute force and they try to guess from thousands of combinations. The third one is single point of failure, which is where the security relies solely on password and does not have any other layer to help. The fourth and fifth one is password reuse problem and mass account takeover. The password reuse problem means that users are likely to use the same password everywhere. Now, this is quite understandable because it's going to be hard for everyone to memorize different passwords for different platforms, but this is still a risk security and this is still a security problem. And the fifth one is mass account takeover. So in case there's a database leak, a lot of accounts may get hacked immediately. Now, how can these attacks happen in a password-aligned system? The first one is they leak from other services. Second one is credential stuffing by attackers. Third one is brute force attacks, and fourth one is phishing. Now, phishing is quite preventable since we can just educate users to not click on random links and not insert their data into links that are not very safe or suspicious links. So what if the password is strong? Is the system safe? Well, not exactly. So even if the password is long, complex, strong, and has plenty of combinations, there will still be problems present. The first one is because, again, users like to reuse passwords. And so if the password is strong, if someone has already known your password and they can use it over and over again, it's not safe. The second one is no protection in case password is stolen, such as in malware or phishing, and third one, there are no security layers to help. So how can we improve this? I have listed 5 things to do to improve the system that is solely relying on password. The first one is to use a multi-factor authentication or OTP via SMS or other messaging platform. So if we try to log in, they will send a code to our own personal number for us to input to make sure that it is really us logging in. And in suspicious activity detection, where we will be verified if we log in into a new device and send the notification to the user from the old device. This makes sure that we are the same person that is logging in and it's not someone else from another region perhaps. The login attempt limit, we need to limit login attempts and add CAPTCHA after a few failed attempts and use good password policy. So set a minimum length, avoid generate passwords such as maybe there's a lot of cases where people use passwords as passwords and then 1, 2, 3, 4 ABC, generate passwords, do not use that, and then use hashtags so the password are stored safely. So, and the last one is educate users. Educate them to be aware of phishing and do not use similar passwords across platforms. So the conclusion is the system is not secure because it uses only one factor, which is password, no login limit, and is vulnerable to automated attacks and password reuse. We need to educate users to not use the same password over and over again, and we need to improve the system by, again, use many more layers and do multi-factor authentication, detect suspicious activity, use good password policy, and limit the login attempts. Okay, so that is all that I can explain. Thank you for watching, and may we meet again.